What is going on, everybody? Super Yankee for Life here once again, bringing you guys NFL picks week number 5. Anyway, so to get right into it, not going to pick the scores for this week's matchups. Might as well start with the Thursday night game, Arizona at St. Louis. St. Louis coming off a not an impressive win, but a win nonetheless against Seattle. Arizona coming off victory themselves. I like Arizona in this game. Arizona right now is playing some pretty stout football, if I say so myself. On the defensive side of the football, I mean, offensively, if they can not turn the ball over, keep Matt Cobb from making mistakes, they'll be just fine. I mean, defensively, they've just gotten so much better. And I like Arizona to win this football game. Alright, 1 o'clock games on Sunday, Miami at Cincinnati. Miami coming off a loss to Arizona, although Ryan Tannehill looked pretty good against the Cardinals defense. Cincinnati coming off a victory, I believe, against Washington. I'm pretty sure. No, that was the previous week. My bad. My fault. They beat Jacksonville last week, I think. Yeah, I mean it's Jacksonville, but I like Cincinnati to win this football game for the reason because I think it's gonna be one of those games. Call me crazy, but I think BenJarvus Green-Ellis will decide this football game along with the Bengals defense. I see this game being closer than people think, but I like Cincinnati to win this football game. Nonetheless, I think defensively, they'll make some stops, and BenJarvus Green-Ellis, I think, will have a nice game. Excuse me, not a big game, but a nice game. Green Bay at Indianapolis. Green Bay coming off a much-needed win over New Orleans last week after the debacle that was the call at Monday Night Football, against Seattle Seahawks. I believe the Colts are coming off a bye. I don't think they played last week. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong about that. I'm going to go with Green Bay on this one. I expect this game to be close. I expect Indianapolis to try to stay in it with Andrew Luck. But I just think offensively Green Bay has just way too much firepower, in my personal opinion. Just to match point for point, touchdown for touchdown with Aaron Rodgers. So I like Green Bay to win that football game. Baltimore at Kansas City. Baltimore coming off a win over Cleveland last Thursday night. They'll be rested. This is kind of the classic letdown game for Baltimore, but I just don't see it happening against Kansas City, which could or could not, or maybe not start Brady Quinn over Matt Castle. I wouldn't say start, but in case Castle gets rocked and turns the ball over or something, they'll probably switch to Brady Quinn. Who knows? But I like Baltimore regardless of Quinn or Castle starting for Kansas City. Cleveland at New York Football Giants. Cleveland coming off a heartbreaking loss to Baltimore. Cleveland is one of those teams that they will win. They will win those type of games with experience. Not this year, but I think in future years to come, they'll learn how to pull out close wins. Like last week when they were not able to do so. But as for the Giants, they're coming off of just a game of inches. That's the only way I can describe it. Lawrence Tynes missed a 52-yarder that fell just short of the goalpost. It was down the middle, but it just fell just short against Philly last week. But I like the Giants to bounce back and win that football game. Win this football game. Cleveland will try to make it close as best as possible, but I believe the Giants will rebound and get a much-needed win to stay pace with teams like Philly and Dallas in the NFC East. Philly at Pittsburgh. I believe Pittsburgh will win this football game for the sole reason because I believe their defense will, I think, try to do a pretty good job of containing Michael Vick. Obviously, Michael Vick, You can't stop him completely, but what you can do is limit the yards that he can gain with his legs. You know, obviously, Pittsburgh's going to live with him getting only 6 yards, 7 yards. If he breaks one, like for maybe 15, 20, maybe 30 yards, that's going to be just a demoralizing feeling for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will have to do a very good job of ball control. They're got to keep it out of Michael Vick's hands, which means running game needs to be stout. Third down conversions need to be on point. If they do that and the Pittsburgh Steelers win this football game, I think they will do their best to do so, and I think they will win. And obviously, I said I wasn't going to do any scores in this, but I'll just, for this one game only, I'll do it. 20-17, Pittsburgh will win a physical football game at home over the Eagles. Atlanta at Washington. Atlanta coming off a last-second win over Carolina at home. Washington coming off a last-second win themselves over Tampa Bay last week. I think, but by the way, Matt Ryan, Roddy White, thank you so much for my fantasy team last week. You guys got me a bunch of points, and I smoked this one dude by like 400 points. Just bonkers, man. Anyway, for this game, I think Michael Turner will have to be more of a focal point, although he was an all-purpose back last week. Ran the ball well, caught a pass for a touchdown. I think he'll be more of a focal point this game than Roddy White was last week, or Julio Jones, or Tony Gonzalez, who, I mean, if you have those guys to throw it to, Matt Ryan is just a happy guy. Washington will, they'll keep it close. Robert Griffin III, anytime you have him, he's going to keep it close for you, but I believe Atlanta will pull it out and go to 5-0 on the young season. Seattle at Carolina. Carolina coming off a loss. Last second loss to Atlanta. Seattle coming off a loss to St. Louis. Both teams need to come back, a bounce back win. I'm going to go with Carolina at home. Not because I don't think Russell Wilson is the answer, but I believe Carolina must win this game to sort of, I wouldn't say validate that Cam Newton's a starter, but I believe they need this win because I just think that defensively they need to get better. Now, obviously, last week against Atlanta, Matt Ryan had a good game, but he earned it because if you watch that game, he was constantly getting either sacked, pressured, knocked down, whatever. He had a rough go, even though his statistics aren't obviously showing it. He had a rough game, even though he had a great statistical game. I can't even speak anymore, but I expect defensively for Carolina to do the same thing again. Against Russell Wilson, I think Marshawn Lynch will have a nice game, but I believe Carolina must win this game, and I think they will do so. Chicago at Jacksonville. Chicago coming off a very dominating defensive performance against Dallas last Monday night. Jacksonville coming off the loss to Cincinnati. I like Chicago in this game, mostly because of their defense and Matt Forte, who had himself a nice game himself against Dallas. Yeah, so that was hard to watch for me. But anyway, Tennessee at Minnesota. I like Minnesota in this game. Jake Locker separated his shoulder. From what I understand, it could be serious. It could be out for a while, maybe the whole year. I don't know. As far as Minnesota is concerned, just Adrian Peterson, what can you say about the dude? I mean, guy tears his knee up almost a full year ago, and a normal guy would have taken maybe, he would probably have taken like maybe half the year off, and then excuse me, would have taken a half year off and then come back. This guy made it a priority to come back week 1, and he has done that, and he has done it very, very well, running the same way as he did before. It's unbelievable. I like Minnesota to win this game primarily because of Adrian Peterson. And of course, Christian Ponder is playing absolute awesome ball control. No interceptions so far in the young season. He's doing a very nice job protecting football. Denver at New England. Denver coming off a impressive win over Oakland. New England coming off what I can only describe as just a explosion victory over Buffalo. They were down 21-7, I believe, like midway through the third quarter, and then all of a sudden, just an explosion of offense, and they wound up scoring 52 points and winning the football game. Offensively, they're just, I mean, they had. I wouldn't say their offense is unorthodox, but they're doing it with guys that would not be, #1 receivers, would not be #1 tight ends in the NFL, except for maybe Rob Gronkowski, who's probably the best tight end in the National Football League, regardless if he's a product of the system. With a tight end the size of Gronkowski, he'll be a number one receiver anywhere else. I like New England in this game. Close game. Offensive shootout. I mean, anytime Brady and Manning get together, it's just going to be a shootout, in my personal opinion. But I like New England in a shootout. Buffalo at San Francisco. Buffalo coming off a just straight up whipping, courtesy of the Patriots. San Francisco coming off a 34-0 shutout victory at the Jets on the road. Defensively, about as good as it gets in football. I like the 49ers to roll in this game. For the same reasons, defensively, best defense in football right now, it belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. The Sunday Night Football game, Chargers at the Saints. The Saints must win this game. I don't think, not just for maybe they're not making the playoffs, but just for a morale boost. I mean, they lose their head coach for a year, which, in my personal opinion, I don't think it makes any difference at all if he would have been in there or not. That defense is just, it's god awful. I mean, it just really is terrible. I mean, the first 4 weeks, opponents have had their way with them. Washington, week 1, Carolina, week 2, Kansas City, even though Castle didn't play well, but Jamal Charles went for like 230 something, and then last week Aaron Rodgers had himself a nice game as well. But I believe New Orleans must get their first win. I think they will get their first win on the young season and go to 1-4. San Diego is just one of those teams where I just can't figure them out. They're good one week, bad the next, and it's hard to figure them out. And then the Monday Night Football game, Houston at the Jets. Now, if you thought last week's Monday Night Football game between the Bears and the Cowboys was going to be bad, this has the makings of a complete and utter meltdown. 34-0, the Jets lost last week at home. Sanchez looked terrible. They lose Santonio Holmes probably for the rest of the year. I just heard he's been placed on the injured reserve, so he's done. Offensively, they can not even move a square inch. As for Houston, probably the best team in football right now. If Houston doesn't win this game by 2 scores, I'll be shocked, to be quite honest. But I believe Houston will roll and go to 5-0. Those are my picks. Hope you enjoy them. Disagree if you want to in the comments section. Until next time, Sugi for life. Signing off. Peace.